Hi everyone, and welcome to how to create a retrochrome text effect in Adobe Illustrator. In this video, we'll go through step by step how to create this image. So let's get started by creating a new document. And we want to make sure that we've set our document to pixels. And the width will be 850 by 450. And then we want to click on more settings here. And here we can actually go ahead and name our project here. So let's go ahead and name this Chrome Effect. Make sure that the color mode is set to RGB and we are set to a resolution of 72 here. Once you've done that, let's click Create Document. And this will create a new document for us to create our Chrome effect in. So here you can see our artboard, which should be 850 by 450. And now we're going to go ahead and show the grid. So let's go to View, and we want to select Show Grid here. And then we want to snap to the grid. So let's go to View and Snap to Grid. And we'll want to create a grid every 5 pixels. So to do this, let's go to Edit, and then let's go to Preferences, and then we want to go to Guides and Grid. All right, so from here, we want to enter 5 for the grid line every. So let's enter that here, and then click OK. And now you'll see we've got a grid which is spaced every 5 pixels. Now let's create the background for our effect. So to do this, we need to select the rectangle tool, or M on the keyboard. And we want to go ahead and draw out a rectangle here. Make sure that our strokes is set to none. And for the color, let's set our color here to R7, G9 and B21, like so. And this will create a dark blue background color for us. Next, let's go ahead and pick the rectangular grid tool here, which is inside the line tool. So just click and hold the line segment tool here to select the rectangular grid tool. And then just click anywhere on the artboard to bring up these grid options here. And then from here, we want to make sure that we've set the size to the exact same size as our document, which is 850 by 450 pixels. The number of horizontal dividers we want to set to 8. And the number of vertical dividers we want to set to 16. Once you've done that, click on OK. And you'll see that we've created this grid here, which we can now move to fit our canvas, like so. Excellent. Now make sure that we've got this grid selected, and we can set the color of our rectangular grid. So let's go ahead and create a stroke for this. So now we've got a white stroke here, and double click on the stroke icon here, and we'll change the color to R251, G85 and B195. Click OK. And now you'll see that we've got this nice pink line for our grid. Now let's go ahead and set the stroke to 2 just to make our grid a little bit thicker, like so. Now we want to convert our lines into a shape. So to do this, we need to go to Object, Path, and we want to select Outline Stroke, but we need to also make sure that our grid is selected here. So now that we've got our grid selected, go to Object, Path, and select Outline Stroke, like so. And then once that's been done, let's go to our Pathfinder tools here and select Unite to create a new shape. And then once we've done this, let's go ahead into the Appearance panel here. And we want to make sure that the fill is made into a radial gradient. So let's go ahead and click on one of these gradients here, like so. And then we can go to our gradient panel, and let's go ahead and change some of the colors here. So for our first color, we want to double click on this, And let's go ahead and change the color here. So the first color we're going to change to R is 68, G is 95, and B is 184. So we've got this nice blue color here. And then the second color here, let's change this to 27, 29, and then 41, like so. And then we can actually change the opacity of this color here as well. So let's go ahead and change this to something like 20 or 25%, like so. And then once we've clicked out, you can see we've got this nice gradient effect over here. Now we can also adjust this a little bit more. So let's go to the aspect ratio here and let's adjust this so that it's something like 51. Let's go ahead and adjust this to 51.6%, like so. And we want to make sure that we've got our grid selected, otherwise that won't change anything. So 51.6, like so. And now we've changed our gradient for our grid. Excellent. So the next thing we want to do now is we want to go ahead and create the text for our effect. So let's click on the type tool here, or T on the keyboard. Click anywhere on your artboard here, and let's type in Chrome. And we want to be able to see what we're typing, so let's change the color here to a nice white color. And we're just going to enlarge this a little bit to see what we're doing. And we're going to use a special font here. So this font is called Etna, which you can find in the download link below, which will take you to the Envato website where you can download it. And then from here, we're going to change the size of this to, let's change this to 135 pixels, like so. And if we go over to our text panel here, so just go to Windows and let's find type over here, like so. And let's go to our character panel. It's just going to dock it over on the side here. And we want to change our tracking here. So let's change this to 100, like so, just to space our text out a little bit. And then the next thing we want to do is we want to center this to our artboard for now. So let's go over to our line tool here, and we want to make sure that we are aligning it to our artboard. So let's center this here, and let's center this here as well. And then just heading over to our appearance panel, we want to add a new fill to our text. So let's go ahead and add a new fill here, like so. And with this fill selected, let's go to the gradient panel, and we want to add a new gradient, a linear gradient here to our text, like so. And let's go ahead and change the angle. So we're changing it to 90 degrees, and let's go ahead and edit the gradient here. So let's edit the gradient. So the first thing we want to change is this first color here. So let's double click on this. And let's change this color to 255, 191, and 255. And this will be this very nice pink color here. And we want to add a new color stop here. So let's click underneath our gradient bar to create that. And we want to set this location to 15%. And we want to make sure that this is set to an opacity of 100%. So let's change the opacity at the top here on the very right to 100% as well. Just ensure that all of the new color stops that we create are also 100%. So let's double click on this new color stop here, and let's change this color to 226, 109, and 190, like so. And let's create a new color stop here. Double click on that, and let's change this color to 51, 3, 59. and the location of this one is going to be at 50%. And let's place a new one right next to it at 53%. And let's change this color to 255, 254, 255, like so. And then let's create a new one here, and this one will be at 60%. And let's double click on this one, and this color is going to be 209, 224, 253. And then the next one is a little bit further to the right at 90%. And this color is going to be 68, 95, 184. And then finally, the last color here, which is all the way at 100%, is going to be 20, 13, and 125, like so. And you can see over to the left here, our chrome effect is really starting to take shape. Excellent. Now make sure that the text is still selected, and we're going to go back to our appearance panel here, and then we're going to add a new effect. So let's go to the effects button here. We want to go to stylize, and we want to select inner glow. So let's select inner glow, and from here let's go ahead and set the mode to overlay, an opacity of 50%, and a blur of 10 pixels, like so. And want to keep this on the edge. Click OK. Next, make sure that your text is still selected. Make sure that the inner glow effect is placed inside our fill, like so. And then select our fill, and we want to duplicate this. So let's go ahead and click on the duplicate button, like here. So let's duplicate the fill. We're going to concentrate on the bottom fill, and let's go ahead and remove the inner glow here, like so. And then from here we want to go to effects, and go to path and offset path. We want to enter 2 pixels for the offset, and then click OK. And then we want to go to effects and go to stylize, and this time let's go ahead and select drop shadow. Now from here we want to enter a value of, let's enter the mode of soft light, like so, and an opacity of 15% with an offset of 0 pixels on the X and 1 pixels on the Y, and 0 pixels for the blur, like so. And then we want to make sure that the color is set to pure black, so 0 on RGB, and then click OK, like so. And then we want to duplicate this shadow effect again, so let's go ahead and click on the duplicate button here, and on our duplicate let's go ahead and click this. We want to change the values here as well. So for this one we want to keep it at soft light with an opacity of 10%, with 0 on the X offset and 2 pixels here on the Y, with again a blur of 0 pixels. Click OK, and then let's duplicate this one, and then click for the new values here. So let's go ahead and keep this at soft light, an opacity of 5, with 0 on the X, and this time let's put 3 on the Y, and then let's duplicate that one, go into that, and for this one let's put an opacity of 30% with 0 on the X and 1 pixel on the Y, with a blur of 5 pixels, like so. And then click OK. Excellent. And now you'll see we've got this nice sort of blur effect going on for our Chrome text. Again, make sure that the text is still selected, and for this let's add a third fill. So let's click on the fill button here and drag it in between the existing 2 fills. So let's drag this here like so. Make sure there's nothing inside this one. And for this one, let's lower the opacity down to 30%, like so. And we want to change the blending mode of this one. So let's change the blending mode here from normal to color burn. And now let's go ahead and apply a linear gradient for this one. So let's select this fill, go to the gradient panel here. And for this, let's go ahead and remove all the existing colors that we've got here. Make both of these colors black. So let's go ahead and do that. So that's pure black here, and let's make this pure black here as well by entering 0 on all of the values. And then over on the left, we want to set the opacity here slightly down. So let's bring the opacity down here to 30%, like so. And then once we've done that, let's go back to our appearance panel. And then we want to offset this. So let's go to Effects and go to Path, Offset Path. And then we want to enter 1 for the offset and then click OK, like so. Cool. Now make sure that the text is still selected again. And for the fourth fill, let's go ahead and create a new fill color. We want to drag this below all the existing fills. So take this all the way down here. Lower its opacity down to 30%. And let's change the color for this. So let's go ahead and change the color here. And the color for this one is going to be R251, G85 and B195, like so. Then go to Effects, Path, Offset Path, and we're going to enter 12 pixels for the offset. Click OK. Then go to Effect, and we want to go to Blur, Gaussian Blur, and we want to enter 30 for the pixels, and then click OK, like so. And now you'll see we've got this nice blur glow effect for our Chrome, like so. Now let's go ahead and deselect the fill. Make sure that our Chrome text is still selected. And we want to add a white stroke to our text. And let's increase the stroke to 2 pixels, like so. And we actually want to lower the opacity of the strokes. Let's go to the appearance panel here and go to the opacity for the stroke. And let's send the stroke opacity to 50% and change the blending mode from normal to overlay, like so. And now we want to go to Effects, Path, and Offset Path. And let's go ahead and enter -1 for the offset and click OK, like so. Cool. Now once we've done that, we want to add a second stroke. So use the Add New Stroke button here to do that. And for this stroke, we want to set the blending mode here to overlay as well. So let's bring that to overlay. Set the weight to 1 pixels, like so. And we want to add a linear gradient to this. So make sure that this is still selected. Let's go to Gradient. And let's add a linear gradient to this one, like so. And now let's go ahead and change some of the aspects of this gradient. So let's remove all of these colors here. And the color we're going to use are all going to be white. So let's make sure that we've got this all set to white, like so. And for the last one, set this to white, like so. And for the first new color stop, let's add a color stop here. We're going to put the location here at 15. And let's set the opacity here to 0. Next, we're going to add a new one here at 35%, at the location here. And the opacity for this one is going to be set to 100. Then we're going to set a new one here at 50% for the location. And the opacity for this one is going to be set to 0. And then we're going to add a new color here at 65 for the location. And with an opacity of 100. And at 80%, we're going to put a new color stop. And with this one, we're going to put the opacity at 0%. And finally, for the last one, we'll keep that at an opacity of 100% with a location of 100%, like so. So let's go back to our appearance panel where we've got our new stroke. And we're going to add an offset to this as well. So let's go to Effects, go to Path, and then go to Offset Path. And let's go ahead and enter an offset of minus 0.5 and then click OK, like so. Cool. Excellent. Now let's make sure that we've deselected that stroke. We're just going to close everything down here just to make things a little bit neater. Now we're going to add a third stroke. So click on the Add New Stroke button here, and we're going to drag it. Let's click and drag this just underneath the last fill, like so. And we want to set the fill weight to 6 pixels, like so. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add a linear gradient to this one as well. So let's go to the gradient panel here, and let's change this to a linear gradient. So just remove all the colors here and set the color to black again. So this is going to be pure black at 0%, and this one's also going to be pure black at 100%. And for this one, we want the opacity of the right color to be 0, like so. Cool. Now let's go back to the appearance panel here. And from here, we want to change the blending mode of our stroke. So go over here and let's change the blending mode here to soft light, like so. And we want to go to Effect, Path, Offset Path, and we want to enter 3 pixels for the offsets, and then click OK. And now let's go to Effect, and we want to find Distort and Transform, and then click on the Transform here. Now over here, let's enter the following things here. So for the vertical, we want to change this to 2, and we just want to transform these 2 options here, so Transform Objects and Transform Patterns, and then click OK, like so. Cool. Now finally, let's add one final fill to our text here, and we're going to set the color to pure black, like so. And we want to lower its opacity down to 5% and change the blending mode here to overlay, like so. Then we want to go to Effects, go to Path, Offset Path, enter 2, and then click OK. Next, with the fill selected, go to Effects, go to Sketch, and then select Chrome here. And then we want to change the detail to 5 and the smoothness to 5, and then click OK. Excellent. Now we're going to add the second text effect. So for the second text, let's go ahead and click on the type tool again. And we're going to type in retro, like so. And for this font, we're going to use a font called Harlow Solid Italic. And we're going to set the size of this to 80, like so. Cool. Now let's go ahead and change the color of this one. So let's go to the appearance panel and go to the add new fill button. And we're going to add a new linear gradient for this one. So let's go to the gradients tool here. And let's go to linear gradient. And let's change the first color here to 201 30 136, and then the second color is going to be 251 85 195. Make sure the opacity for this one is set to 100%, and we'll give it an angle of 90 degrees, like so. And then over back in the appearance panel, we're going to create another fill. So create a new fill color. And for this one, let's bring this above our first fill. And we're going to lower the opacity here to 30% and change its blending mode to overlay, like so. Then we're going to go to effects, path, offset path, and let's enter -2 for the offset and click OK, like so. And then all we need to do from here is just move our text into position. So we're just going to move this just over here, just above the C, like so. And now using the rectangle tool, so let's select the rectangle tool here, create a new rectangle. So just click anywhere on our artboard here. So a new 850 by 460 rectangle. And let's go ahead and make sure this is center to our artboard. And let's set the fill color to black and lower its opacity to 5%. And then let's change the blending mode here to soft light, like so. And then from here, let's go to effects, go to artistic, and then we want to find film grain. So let's click on film grain. And over here, we want to enter a grain of 20 and an intensity of 10, and then click OK. And there we have it, the completed retro chrome text effect in Adobe Illustrator. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial, and I'll see you next time on Tuts Plus.